Indiagames was the first company, first gaming company from India to get the license of Spider-Man. So there's a very interesting story, Vishal sir, that you mentioned about this. Do you want to highlight that story and what were some of the moments? Because I remember back in the day, you mentioned the statement that you put every last dollar in the company in acquiring that license. So taking that risk, believing in an IP that was not Indian inherently, what was that journey like, sir?
Talking about the Spider-Man story, Nikhil, yeah, again,
Yeah.
see, the the point for every company is that at some point of time you have to take a big bet, or you have to bet everything you have, right? If you have to go to the next level. So if you remember, I told you the story of the 11 games we had. These 11 games were generic games like tic-tac-toe, tank attack, zapper. Uh, uh, we had like, so we basically took generic games. We had a game called Chopper Rescue, where that chopper is going and you have one cloud and you have to avoid the cloud. So basically, think of all the generic games in the world, which was created into Java games. You may even find some of them online. Zapper and J2ME. They were all J2ME games. They were called. Yeah, this chopper rescue, by the way. Yeah, that's one of our games. Wow. So this was a game which made crores of rupees for us, by the way, at that time. So
Wow.
we saw the success of it, and I already had global contracts with operators. And we saw that जहाँ हम लोग एक गेम पे $100,000 बना रहे हैं, वहाँ I can make $1 million on a game. The only thing was we needed a recognized character. The mobile operator said, "Get me a recognized character." So that's when we created a list of recognized characters. We said Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, all these names. And we said, you know what, if we have to bet something, let's figure out. And that's when we went to Marvel Comics and we made this big bet. And there's a very interesting story behind this. This game was only licensed to us for less than 1 year.
Oh.
And the reason was that Spider-Man license is the most complicated license in the world. That license is with the Sony Pictures. They have the license for Spider-Man, the movie character. And Marvel has the license of the comic book. So this is the comic book Spider-Man. And then there is the other Spider-Man, which is the movie Spider-Man. So there was a Spider-Man 2 movie releasing. And that release was 1 year later. And ek saal pehle, what they said is, we can license you Spider-Man, but we only have 1 year. And it is a very short amount of time for you to, create and develop and distribute the game and make money. So basically, the problem or the opportunity was that there was very short amount of time. So what we did was a hack. Even without having the Spider-Man license, we started making the game. मैंने बोला तुम लोग game बनाओ, I will get you the license. So the team, even while we were negotiating with Marvel Comics, the game was already getting developed in the studio. Then Marvel first said, "Ki arey tum kaun hai? Will not give you." They didn't know who we were. But somehow we convinced them, and they asked us basically crazy. They asked us a few crores. I think it was about that time about 1.5 crores for a 1 year license to pay for Spider-Man, and that was the only total amount we had in our bank. Basically, usse bhi kam hoga actually. So we said that, listen, if our Chopper Rescue can make $100,000, Spider-Man should at least take $1 million. That was our but problem ये था कि गेम बना के लॉन्च करके ग्लोबली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना था 1 साल में. एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू मार्वल गेम डेवलपमेंट एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन एंड अप्रूवल में ही 6 महीना लग जाएगा. तो they were saying that you don't have enough time for the game. But anyway, to cut a long story short, we gave them that money, bet everything, and the day they signed the license, we showed them the game the next day. The game was already ready.
Nice.
So they were completely mad because, ye kya ho gaya? I said, no, we were already making the game. So within weeks, the game got approved and we launched the game. And this game made us $2 million in revenue, $2 million in 1 year.
Awesome.
And this was one of the, and you can, there's a lot of articles about it, there are stories about it, but I think this was an example where we exactly knew what was the gap. The market needed IP. Spider-Man was the best IP, and only we could deliver that in that short amount of time. So it had a number of threads going on. And by the way, we were also the first company ever in India to license a digital character into India. So when we first went to RBI, हमको अप्रूवल नहीं मिल रहा था पैसे भेजने के लिए, because ये मतलब क्या कर रहे हैं स्पाइडरमैन का क्या, we had to, like today तो it's still a little known that you license characters. This was a licensing of a character deal. It was very complicated to explain because you require RBI permission to send money and all that. So it was a complete nightmare. This had a lot of firsts, including the first ever international license which was done into India. So it was fun.
Cool. So what happened after 1 year? I mean, did you sunset the game? Did they take down the game from
The
everywhere?
funny thing is, after 1 year, Spider-Man 2 वाले हमारे पास आ गए कि हमारे पास गेम नहीं है, हमको लाइसेंस करो. So we actually also gave the game to Spider-Man because Sony didn't have the game. So we actually milked that game multiple times, and that's, so it was a side-scrolling game. Basically, think of it like a side-scroller, which had multi-layers and all that. It was a very good side-scrolling game. So we had the side-scrolling engine, which we had built. This was all Java, right? This is all 2D. The game size used to be in kilobytes, not megabytes. So we had cracked the side-scrolling engine. And then the same engine pe we built many games. We got after this, we went to Hollywood. We licensed Scorpion King, Predator, Day After Tomorrow. I mean, you name it. I think we licensed some 30 or 40 big Hollywood brands. Bruce Lee was licensed by us. Garfield was licensed by us. So what we did is, once we got the model, we doubled down. Yeah, that's the Bruce Lee game you can see. That was the Indiagames Bruce Lee title. Then we did games in India with Gajini. By the way, Gajini game in India, interestingly, made 2 crores in revenue. I think producers went mad. I don't think producers ne kabhi bhi socha tha ki, Gajini could do almost 2 crores in revenue, and that's the kind of revenues we did. Similarly, we did Ravan. So Bollywood, again, I don't even remember. So we had actually 3 studios within Indiagames. We used to call them Surya, Chandra, and Tara. The 3 studios. So Surya used to focus on building games for the US. Chandra used to focus on games for India. And Tara was our, they were doing R&D and 3D, and they were looking at the futuristic stuff. Europe and the futuristic stuff. And Studio Chandra was responsible for all the Bollywood titles. They were dealing with all the local stuff. So we did a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with this.